today's tutorial, we're going to create some pop art from this photo in Photoshop. And the first thing we're going to do here is going to right click the background and duplicate the layer. I always do this because this way you can have any mistakes, you can always just go back to the original. So turn off the background layer. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove that background. Now, as like another tutorial that I've got, how to remove backgrounds, it'll be in the link below. We're going to go through the same process and do it right now. Go to channels. Now select the blue, because that's the best one. It's got a difference between the contrast with the white and the background. If you click red, they're very close. It doesn't really show that much for contrast. Green, yeah, it's close, but blue really shows the difference. So we're going to right click that, duplicate the channel, hit OK, and call it whatever you want. Click on the blue channel and unclick the actual blue itself. So you get the bottom one, the copy. Next, you can go up to image, adjustments, and levels. Now, we're going to really change the difference here. So we want to make it really black and the background really white. So we've got a distinctive difference between those two. So we're going to get the slider on the right here, and we're going to take it right down so she's really, really dark. It's getting very, very, very dark. Now, as you can see, the background's starting to get dark as well. So we're going to get the right-hand side, and we're going to bring that over, and look at that. That is perfect. So don't forget, after we complete this, we're in the mask mode. We'll go into all these little white pieces in the middle here, and we can colour those back in. Hit OK. Now hold the command key down while you click on blue copy. Go back to layers. See it's red because it's ready for the mask. On the bottom here of the layer menu, you've got add layer mask. Click that. Don't worry, those background's gone. We're going to invert that. So we go to image, adjustments, and invert. There we go. Background's gone. You beauty. Now, while we've got mask still selected, we've got little areas like this here, there. What we're going to do, we're going to zoom in, and we're going to eliminate those. Hold down the spacebar key to move the image across. Get the paintbrush tool, and make sure you've got a nice size, not too big, not too small. No spacing, hardness, take it right down. And you've got black, and then we can start drawing in there just to get rid of that background. Won't take much longer. And the good thing is with working with masks, especially with the pen tool like this, if you make a mistake, say for instance you go out and you think, oh, what, instead of just going back, or just say for instance you made a mistake like that, and you do something else later, and you can't go back and fix it. Just hit white, and look, it all comes back. So that's the beauty of masks. That's really good. Okay, so that's good. Zoom, right click, zoom out. And we're going to go over here, hold in the spacebar key to move it around. I'm going to rotate the image, so I'm going to hold in the R key, and I can rotate the image like that. Hold in the spacebar key to put it in position. And the beauty of this is that you can work with your arm. Usually goes in that direction like that. So you want to have the image so you can, get a nice, clean, straight edge line. Now, because I'm dealing with hairlines here, I'm going to change the opacity and put it down. You could change the flow if you want. It's up to you, each individual. Because I'm doing it that way, it's not as harsh when you're eliminating. You just keep on going over it to eliminate something that's really dark. Now, this is really good, especially when you're dealing with hair strands. So it's going to go down here like this, very gently. And the more you draw over it, the more it disappears. Just get rid of that too. So very gently, just around like that. And hold the spacebar key and move it around. Do the same here. And go around like this. Now this technique can be used for any image when you want to remove the background. This is a really easy and great cool, effective way to do it. And it always gives good results. Hold down the space bar key while I'm doing this. Now we've got these hair strands up here. I'm going to get rid of those because we don't really need them. I'll put the opacity back up. We don't really need those, especially for what we're doing here. If you are doing an image and you wanted to get rid of the background, yeah, by all means, leave them in there. But for this illustration purpose here, or tutorial purpose here, what we're doing, we don't need that. Hold in the R key, and we're just going to rotate it again. Space bar key, maneuver into position. Because we're dealing with a, how can I say, it's a very old school effect is what we're dealing with here, and this is what we're trying to come up with, this pop art. In the old days when we used to do this pop art, it was just basically a cell, which is like a clear piece of plastic, and it's see-through, transparent. And what they used to do, they used to have different colours on that, and they used to put that on top of the actual image and photograph it. That's how they used to do it. So we're trying to get that. We're trying to get that effect going too. Okay, change it to white, and just click over there. All those little white. Remember those little white areas that we were looking at before that keep them popping up. Okay, so we're drawing them back into the image. I think there's one. Usually one around the chin. Another right click and zoom out again. I think the part here, the black part here, there were a couple there. So I'll just increase the brush size so make sure we get all that area done. Right, right click and push it back out again. Hold down the R key and rotate it back into position. That's where we want it. Right, so we're going places. So if you wanted to change this now, you wanted to put a background in there, you can always just put any background in there. So if you just go new layer and just say, for instance, blue color, there you go. And the background is gone. You got these little bits and pieces here. We're going to go back to the mask tool. And what we will do, get the paintbrush, change to black, put the opacity down, probably a little bit more. Not too, oh, too big. That's right. Remember, we changed the size. And we're just going to go like this, very gently in there. And what we're doing now is just cleaning up more than anything else. That's okay. A little bit there like that. And this part here, we want this to come see-through as well, because there's a strand of hair going that way. And especially, it's like artwork, everything's not, there's no rules, there's no laws that this must be like this because this must be like that. When you're dealing with an illustration or you're dealing with Photoshop, you're doing like a photo manipulation thing, you're actually doing illustration. And illustration is basically, it's not always like, there's no laws to say white must be white and this must be this and that. So you're always mucking around with something to make it look real, to make it look good. And it's probably not even real. It's probably nothing close to it. So, I'm doing things like this. I'm just going around the hairline here, and if it was a law type of thing or a rule, and people say, oh, no, this is the rule, you must do things this way, you must do it this way, this is how things are done. It'd be like you trace around the hairline and you don't do these parts, because that's not in the illustration. When you're illustrating something, no, you just muck around with it to make it look real. And a lot of times you go against the grain of rules and regulations and you just do it your own way. Okay, so that's good. That's good. We're just about done there. And yeah, that looks good. We'll deal with that. That's good. That's good at this stage. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click this layer with the mask. Just click it over here, not the mask itself. Convert to a smart object. And right click it again and rasterize the layer. Now, the thing is, I can move that image anywhere I like, and yeah, it'll stay in position and be transparent background. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to convert that to a grayscale. So with the Mac, I'm going to hold down the Shift and Command key and U. There we go. Don't worry, because we've still got, if we turn that off, we've still got the color at the back here. So it's just that layer that's actually black and white. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to right click and duplicate the layer. Okay, turn off that background light. Now, before I go any further now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get that black and white dotted effect like to the old photos. So I'm just going to make sure the color palette is black and the back part of it underneath is white. You're going to have to filter gallery, and I've already got it selected. So what are we going to do? I'm going to zoom out so you can get a bit more detail. Now the size of the dots, you make sure that you've got dot, not circle or anything else, and make sure that you've got it clicked on here halftone. So I'm just going to take, if I take it down too far, it's a bit too much, it's pixelated. That's good enough. The contrast, we don't want too much contrast about there, that's fine. That looks good. And there's the difference. So it's looking a bit more, you know, cartoonish pop art already. So that's good. I'll turn that one off. Now on the bottom here, it's a little bit white. So I'm just going to, now that it's not masked, I'm just going to use a lasso tool. I'm going to trace around this area here because it's really sticking out, and delete. Okay, right click, full screen. Right, now we're going to hit new layer. And what we're going to do now, before we do any further, we're going to get a selection of her. So we're just going to hold down the Command key, click it, click it. It's already selected her. Okay, go up to the new layer, and we can fill now. Okay, now the color, what we're going to do, we're going to turn all these layers off. I'm going to get a color sample of her skin. And then later I'm going to get a color sample of her lips. So go back to the skin, turn it off, turn all these back on, go to this one. And we're just going to fill this, which is pretty cool. Select. Now I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply. Now I'm going to turn that off, get a new layer, and I'll turn this one off too, so you can see what I'm dealing with here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw around her hair. Now, because see how you've got straight images, straight edges, and all this type of thing. A little bit we've left in there, little lines and hair strands, but the whole effect of this, the whole thing we're trying to get this effect is basically like not even 2D, one-dimensional type of thing of 80s style cartoon. Command key and select that. Just going to select her again. Get to the new layer, and this way we don't go over onto the blue area. I'm going to select yellow, nice yellow color. Paintbrush tool, and now I'm just going to start colouring in her hair. Change the opacity, put that back up to 100%. Just going to go around, very gently around here. And like that. These pen tablets are really good for pressure sensitivity stuff, especially when you're dealing with Photoshop. It is awesome. Now, probably going into a bit too much detail here for an 80s style, you know, the original style of illustrated image type of thing with this, but a little bit too much detail, I suppose. It's usually a lot easier to just hold it place back here. It's a lot easier just to do it in sections and have straight lines. You can always use a pen tool and get around things that way too. So I'm just going to go around here, hold in spacebar key, that piece of hair going there. There are other tutorials around that show you how to just eliminate the hair particles and, you know, do stuff with the hair, change that. It is quite detailed and it takes a long time to do. Just for tutorial purposes, we're not going to go there. We're just going to do the simple and fastest, quickest, easiest way to get this effect. So like that. Bring it down there like that. All I'm doing is tracing this hair, as I said before. We can always go back into this and, you know, eliminate, change things. You know, got too much hair, like I just made a mistake there. It's a lot easier if I rotate the image while I'm doing this as well, but at this stage we should be right. So just bear with me for a sec. And the beauty of this, by selecting her face, is that if I go over, it's not going to do the blue background. And we get a nice clean finish. This looks really good. Once I change the blend mode to multiply, you'll see a big difference. Okay. There. It's like I'm colouring in a book, like a children's book. Anyway, nearly there, guys, nearly there. Of course, for tutorial purposes, I'm doing this so much quicker than what you would do if you're doing it for yourself. Anything like, you know, your multimedia profiles and stuff like that. It's a really good look. This is. It's an excellent look. People look at it and they go, "Wow, how did you do that? I like your profile photo." You know, stuff like that. It's a good way to get that oomph, and people go, "Wow, it's very, very artistic. I like the way you've done that." And the good thing is with pen tools, with I should say the Wacom pen and tablet, is that you can do things like this. You can just strands of hair, pressure sensitive, and I could go thick and thin, 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 like that, thin, and just fill in the hair. Just about done. I know it's slow, but like I said before, it gives a good effect. Now right click, zoom out. Now we're going to go back to the original image. This one, we're going to hit the command key and select it, just that. And this one, you're going to hit the mask. And we're going to invert that. Image, adjustments, and invert. So if we take the hair one off, she's got grey hair. No, we got rid of the grey, the yellow. Change the blend mode to multiply. And there we go, guys. It's looking quite good. That way, it'll all come out really well and pop out later on when we flatten the image down. And we adjust some minor little adjustments. Now the lips. Paintbrush tool. I'm going to trace around her lips here. Now we're going into fine detail. Now originally when artwork, all this pop artwork was done, it was very rough. And like, you know, they had half the lip would be over here as well. You know, this type of stuff. You could see that it was actually just copied and pasted and, you know, cut out and put on. But, you know, it's like there's a couple of celebrities now that are doing this and putting, you know, this type of effect into their profiles, and it's looking quite unique. It's looking really good. Change the multiply to again, It really stands out. That way, later on, you'll see the big difference. Now for the eyes and the teeth, I'm going to go back to the skin layer. Should have named it. Get the brush tool, make sure I've got black. I'm going to go around the teeth and their eyes. I'm really going to give that, that illuminated look, little blue eyes showing up as well. And I might do the same here. Don't do too much on those, that's fine. Okay, now we're going to zoom out. Okay, now we're going to go back to the background copy here. That's the one we want. You can change the opacity if you want with that. Bring it down. Just, it's a lot easier looking appealing on the eye that way. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go layer, flatten the layer. I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see what we're doing. And we're going to go up to image, adjustments, and exposure. No, not exposure, we're going to go up to image, adjustments, and vibrance. Put the vibrance up a little bit, and then we're going to put the saturation up a little bit, and there it really comes out the gold in the hair. So there we go, guys. That's how we do pop art in Photoshop. Thanks for watching.